Hey everybody, it is August 14th, something UTC, 7 p.m. UTC maybe, wherever you are in the world, not sure what time it is, but my name is Kevin Murcko. I'm CEO here at Coinmetro, as per the shirt, and this is called an AMA. You ask, I answer, ask me anything, literally ask me anything. I think I've answered just about every question on the show, even ridiculous ones, so fire away. First, as I customarily do, I'm going to ask for a mic check so I don't sit here and talk to myself for 5 or 6 minutes, which has been known to happen in the past. And then I have to repeat myself, and I usually don't repeat the same thing. So I don't know whose benefit that might be. It might be your benefit, might be mine. Hear you. Thanks, Monkey Biscuits. Okay, so what should we do? Should we start off with the updates? I have, let me see, I got a 2-pager. I have a 2-pager in front of me with updates. I can start there, or I can start with questions and jump in when I see something on the updates. The banana zone, yeah. Enjoying, I guess. I don't know if we're fully in there yet, though. But definitely we're getting close if we're not there already. So do we start with updates? I'm going to start with updates. How about we do it that way? Let's get that out of the way for those that, don't want to listen to me talk for an hour. Or just need a quick fix. Here we go. So number one on my list is BTC Earn is live. So yeah, brand new product for us. Obviously it's Bitcoin, so it's off-chain staking. I think people have asked about, how we generate those yields. I'll give you a quick overview. Essentially, we have credit lines that we have to pay an interest rate for to keep open. We need those credit lines so we can provide liquidity across the board. And we're trying to expand those credit lines so we can provide liquidity across more pairs. This is collateralized credit lines. So there is counterparty risk, as collateral will sit with a regulated institution that is not Coinmetro. However, it's not being traded in the background. That's essentially what there's a certain threshold. Once we get to a certain amount of credit or collateral, we don't need additional credit lines currently. And there is a hedged forward and option play that we are looking into for additional funds. But for now, it's all credit line. USD on and off ramp is back. I'll say as well, I think we have something like 18, close to 20 BTC in over the first less than a week. So pretty good, pretty decent response. Some of that Bitcoin is new Bitcoin, some of it's Bitcoin that's sitting on platform, etc. And we hope to see those. And I think we will see those numbers grow over time, especially once we start to push it out to the public. USD on and off ramp is back. That's a big one. So Swift, as well as, I guess we can call it Fed Now, FedWire or Fed Now. Fed Now, it's basically like SEPA Instant in the US, instantaneous wire transfers within the US. If your bank supports it, we can receive it. If they don't support it, usually same business day, those funds are going to clear anyway. And Swift USD. So finally back online after a pretty long hiatus, unfortunately not due to us, but we were finally able to work things out and get it back online. So I'm excited about that. Glad to see that come back online. Our new XCM activation. So we had this raffle that was all based on price. Now we have this raffle based on volume, and it's going to be ongoing throughout the entire rest of the year. There's something like 500,000 in guaranteed prizes. So lots of money on the line for Coinmetro. Definitely hoping to see those volumes explode and XCM do well, not just with buybacks and everything else that we throw at it, but also new XCM holders coming into the fray. We got major app updates. So we got 6 new languages. We got German, Dutch, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, Polish. Pretty good list of European languages so far. Obviously, that's going to help us with placing the app in the App Store, with people seeing the app, with being able to target different regions of the world. So that's super cool. We're optimizing pretty much every couple of weeks now. The app, you'll probably notice it's much faster, much more responsive. And work underway to get withdrawals fully native. So deposits are fully native. We're working on getting withdrawals fully native. Means it'll be more optimized experience. It'll work faster, etc. So that's also cool. Referral program finally fixed. I know Bjorn, wherever Bjorn is, he's definitely excited about this one, as are we. So delayed rewards have been paid. There is a payment schedule for people that are due over a certain amount of rewards, but the first payments have been made, and we'll be on time with the rest. So now we can ramp up working with knowledge leaders and influencers in crypto, which is something we've done very little of in the past, but we're excited to be able to jump down that rabbit hole now with one of, if not the best referral program in crypto. No real small fine print like, oh, make 30% for 4 days off your referrals. None of that nonsense. Delayed project updates have been completed. So we got Credo, which became whatever, open, and then it was something else. I don't know. Noia, I don't even know how to pronounce it. VXV and ALF all have been, all those updates have been delivered, whether they were rebrandings or changes or reswapping or whatever the new term is for we have a new token. Remaining updates are scheduled and also moving out on schedule. So also good. Supporting Ukraine and a growing amount of clients in Brazil. So we got 0 fees for Ukrainian nationals. Awesome. Driving a surge in clients from Ukraine. Also awesome. And out of nowhere, Brazil became, I guess they really love Coinmetro down in Brazil. Obrigado. Probably because I visited Brazil relatively recently. I'm gonna put the onus on that. It had to be that. Somebody saw my bald head at the airport and said, "Oh yeah, Coinmetro. Oh, I forgot about those guys." So yeah, we've made it a bit easier for onboarding and such, making a few changes on what kind of documents we accept, et cetera, to make it a bit easier. So that's cool. Web platform fixes are in motion. So there's a big overhaul of the web platform coming. Essentially, back in the day, like 30% of our traffic went to mobile when we had a mobile app, when we first had a mobile app. That was the height that we saw. And it was less than that on a day-to-day basis. Now we see like 99%, 98%, 97% of all traffic going to mobile. And so we're making a segmentation that mobile obviously will be our bread and butter, retail, newbies, not so newbies, easy to use, easy to use, easy to use. And I said that 3 times for a reason. The web app will kind of transition into, say, professional retail. Also people using APIs that need to keep track of all their positions. Maybe when you pull statements, things that you generally won't have to do on a day-to-day basis, or a more powerful interface, a broader interface for those that are looking for additional support, additional widgets, additional little bells and whistles. So that has now begun on the front end. We've been planning on this for quite some time. Liquidity aggregation for small caps also underway. Now have a way to rebalance across different LPs and different liquidity sources. And we're running tests right now to make sure that's all in place so we can start to automate liquidity out to those assets that are relatively hard to find liquidity on. We're on CoinPaprika now. So CoinGecko, CoinPaprika, CoinMarketCap, CoinPaprika, awesome. Or CoinChili if you like, or Pepper, I don't know. But we're approaching the top 50. So any help you guys can do there, I don't know, a bit more volume would help us get into that top 50. Next up, I think within this week, apparently, next 2 languages on the website, which is German and Dutch. Well, this August, so that'll happen within August. Now, what's coming next? Here we go. New web platform, as it is described, will be rolling out. Kickoff is in August. Probably work through September, maybe into October to get that bad boy over the line. New swap. So new swap will be fully mapped, designed, and ready. And tech is ready to build, or it has been fully designed. It's about making the mobile app experience as optimized as possible, eventually adding in like limit orders on or something similar to a limit order. Basically, I want to buy at this price rather than I want to buy now, and a whole bunch of other stuff, including my next one on my list, dollar cost averaging, which will happen after the new swap is launched. Trading portfolios. You remember way back in the day on the white paper, we had these ETSPs, which it either was electronically traded, ETCP, sorry. Yeah, electronically traded crypto portfolio, I think, maybe, was what it was. Yeah, I think so. Somebody's going to correct me. Maybe it'll be Harold. But anyway, something like that. Basically, top 50 on CoinMarketCap, top 20, different baskets that aren't necessarily actively curated, but are based on some simple metrics. That's coming. And bulk listings as well coming by the end of August. So there you go. Now I'm going to jump into the questions. Hopefully there's a lot more now. I did see a lot pop up because, well, that was a lot of updates. That took 9 minutes. It's 9 minutes updates. Maybe I should just throw in the mic now. Mic drop. Maybe it doesn't get better than this. I don't know. Any plans on adding little AI to Mars soon, or is it coming together with new 2.0? So 2.0, Mars 2.0. Somebody else is asking to elaborate. PH Penthouse here, a little bit down. So I'll elaborate now. Mars 2.0, the way that it works right now, we have spot market. 100% of all commissions in the spot market are converted to XEM. 50% is burned, right? And that's on tokenomics. This is going to tie in. So that's our tokenomics, really, not necessarily Mars. But the way Mars works currently is that, and I mentioned that because the new one is much more intertwined, much more, very much related to tokenomics, much more so than it is now. So, and then on the standard Mars, you have all these staking plans we run. If we're profitable on those staking plans, we take a percentage of what we make and we redistribute those assets across all XCM stakers. So there you go. Mars 2.0 will take every single tradable pair on the exchange, on the spot exchange. So let's say BTC USD, Lil AI USDT, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We make money in the base currency. So if you're trading Little AI anything, when we make our commission, we get paid in Little AI. That's how it works. We will create 3 baskets. 33% goes right to Treasury. That's what we make. We run a business. That's our immediate revenue. Another 33% of that will essentially get locked up in a pool that will be gamified. So if Little AI USDT surpasses X amount of volume this month, these are going to get released to Mars. And that creates essentially the Mars 2.0. So it is a less percentage potentially, although 33% gets burned, by the way. So the burning is a little less than it is now, but it opens up the door to have every tradable asset available into Mars 2.0 rather than just ones that are being staked. The ones being staked will also still be there, and we are planning in the very short term. I thought this was on my list, actually. Was it on my list and I missed it? Anyway, more staking coming soon. Actually, I think it was right in the top one. Yeah, we have a full pipeline of new staking products. Totally missed that one on BTC Earn, but that was there as well. Thanks, Alec, for the list, by the way. Also, any plans on increasing limit? Well, the limit is based on the fact that this is treasury staking. So Little AI gave us some Little AI, told us, basically how they wanted it to be paid, the percentages, etc. At the end of the day, we wanted to make sure enough people could get in the door. So one big whale doesn't come and take most of the rewards. So I think for now, it's going to stay the way it is. Maybe it gets relaunched, or maybe it gets revised, especially considering we now have the ability to be a bit more customized with off-chain staking or our Earn platform. Let's say our passive income platform, Earn. Hey, Debbie, is the ability for U.S. citizens or others to be able to roll over an existing IRA into a Coinmetro account of this kind on the timeline of new and wonderful things? So definitely there's been movement in the U.S. to allow for these things to take place. I do believe theoretically it's possible without us doing something, meaning it can probably be papered on your end, or through your financial, whoever's providing you the service for your IRA. But that's probably a drawn out process, or it might be not that straightforward or upfront, traditional finance the way it is. This is something I think we definitely will be looking into. It's not currently, as far as I can tell, on any immediate roadmap. But given the fact that this just became a thing officially, and even now I would say there probably isn't that many providers actually, or many exchanges that are doing this in real time, but they probably will start. You'll probably see Coinbase and others, if they haven't already, start to provide this. But it's definitely something we would like to provide, and more than likely we'll be looking into it in the short or near future, I should say, not the short term. Do an AMA with Thought AI. We've done that in the past. Definitely willing to do it again. Let me be the first to ask about BizDev. Little porky pig there for you. So BizDev, drink of water. Obviously, in the background, we have talks with BlockTrade. We did an AMA with them. More news coming on that. But for now, my lips are sealed because we're still working out some details. But that definitely is probably the major one. We are in research phase on a few, I guess you can call BizDev, that are related to new potential products and services. More information to come, later on, probably this year on those particular points. But yeah, that I think the biggest one right now is the BlockTrade deal in the background, and more news to come. Thanks, Casper. Appreciate that. So I did comment on the banana zone. Whether we're in Bitcoin, I guess you can say has been in the banana zone since the beginning of the year, really. And it might be getting towards the end of that banana zone. Of course, it really depends on what cycles Bitcoin is going to take moving forward, with all the different types of transactions and kind of people interested in putting Bitcoin on balance sheets and treasury companies and all these things. That doesn't necessarily mean everybody's buying. Obviously, if you're doing this and you're a normal company and just have Bitcoin on treasury, you're probably buying and selling, making money in your chosen fiat. However, we do seem to be seeing that in the background, alt markets seem to be picking up. ETH is obviously on fire. That's usually step one historically before we see a full-blown alt season. Really, question is what does alt season look like? Because not all alts are going to rise. I've said this in the past. Anything tied to decent tokenomics with growth should move. And, we've seen oldies but goodies move, or oldies but baddies, depending on how you look at it or your opinion. Things like XRP, Cardano, etc. Can you spill some beans on THT? How do you expect THT to affect Coinmetro when they release their product? Well, I guess it depends on what they release, how it works, and again, and also how well they do in this upcoming benchmark test. We're the only place you can really buy it. Yes, there's Wrap THT, I believe, on, was it AVEX or something? I forget. But at the end of the day, most people, especially those that hear about it for the first time, are going to come in with fiat, right? They're going to come in, maybe they have another crypto already, but they're going to need to exchange it. They're probably not going to use a bridge, etc. So we're the only game in town. So if they do well, if they announce anything close to what some of the expectation is internally and externally at thought, it's going to probably mean a lot of clients coming in the door, a lot of people coming in to buy in a very thin order book, which potentially could mean a lot of upside potential. But again, all that really depends not only on what is announced and what happens, but then the perception leading up to and after the news. You could have a buy the news, sell the fact event. Probably still would be priced higher, to be honest, because at the current market cap, if any, even if a fraction of what they're trying to do gets accomplished, we are so far away from a legitimate price point for any of that we would probably see, even on a buy the news, sell the fact, price would stabilize significantly higher. When you'll be able to move our cryptos to other accounts? When will we be able to move our cryptos to other accounts? You mean internal transfers? That is scheduled, I think, right now for November, Paul, and maybe will happen beforehand. Why is your office so creepy? Well, it's soundproof, and I'm trying to get the lighting right here. So a lot of let's watch what happens. See, I'll show you. Then I get this, I mean, it's a halo, so that's nice, I guess. But it's a bit distracting. It's kind of like you're like deer in the headlights at this point. You don't even know what I'm saying. Is the baldness is totally screwing up your day. So I do this, and we don't get that. I don't know. I'll work on it, man. If you got any suggestions, maybe a nice light in the background, a little color. I don't know. I'll work on it. Hey, Kevin, can you do a shout out to my boy Bjorg? He just got a new pizza oven. Oh man. I remember the Bjorg pizzas, man. Every Friday, I think it was, or Sunday. I think it was Sunday, was pizza day, just posting pictures of pizzas with really, sometimes, pizza that humans eat. And then other times just pizza that I've never seen a human being touch. I mean, ingredients that just don't make any sense in a pizza. I'm pretty sure I saw a peanut butter and jelly pizza at one point with bananas on it or something. Maybe not, but that's what it looked like. But yeah, absolutely got a new pizza oven. I'm ready to see some pizza pics. Absolutely. Here we go. Any update on staking reward bug? We're still missing all the rewards, and it happened twice again in July. I reported this in December 2023, and it was promise fixed by September 2024, then again by Q2 2025. I don't have Jira in front of me, so I'd have to take a look, but definitely I'll ping somebody about it. Potentially they're not the same issue. What I will say is that with the launch of this Earn platform, which is currently bundled with staking, there is a project in the background to rewrite staking entirely to make it mobile first. Rewriting it will absolutely fix this issue. Let's call that part of tech debt. Can you comment on success of advertising, Paul? Any whales or hedge funds? So advertising still hasn't kicked off, let's say, in the force we would like it to. Obviously, we're doing a lot more on the marketing front. We are doing a little bit on the advertising front. We are definitely promoting things and spending a bit of money on promotion. While we haven't seen a massive increase in onboarding, we have seen steady increases in volume, steady increases in revenues, and definitely seeing new clients come on board. With the advent now of USD, us pushing some marketing dollars behind that, or advertising dollars behind that, as well as Bitcoin Earn, with where Bitcoin is and where it seems to be stabilizing in price, or moving higher almost day by day, but at this high range. I think that is definitely going to be some fuel to the fire to bring us some additional clientele. But marketing is doing a fantastic job, and we're really waiting to finalize this funding round so we can allocate, some real dollars, euros, pounds, etc., into our amazing funnels. You guys have been on fire lately with updates. What's changed? Well, this change took a long time, man, and it was painful, and it painful for a lot of different reasons. One, I think I mentioned this, but if somebody said this, I forget who it was, but anyway, if you hire the right actors, the movie writes itself, something like that. Finding the right people, and even harder than that, finding the right people and putting them in the right place. Some people don't know where they should be. Some people have a background and they end up being really great in things they have no background in. Some people are really great, but they're low stress. They can't handle stress. Other people can handle lots of stress, but they're not that great. I mean, there's finding the right people in the right places for a company like this. And I don't mean Coinmetro specifically, but in this industry, it's volatile. There's always a fire somewhere. There's always an issue. There's always something great and also something terrible, right behind the door. It's very much a kind of yin yang type situation all the time. Took a long time, man. It took me a long time. It took people that work direct with me every day a fair amount of time as well to figure out how all the puzzle pieces fit together. We have an amazing team right now through every single department. And while, there's always something that needs to be worked on, that's for sure. It's never been this good. It's been versions of good, and we didn't know necessarily what better was. I can tell you now that this is the best kind of joint collective team we've ever had. We also just got good at learning from our mistakes. And of course, collectively, from me all the way down, there's been a lot of mistakes. There's been foots put in the mouths. There's been, trip ups. There's been stumbles. And I think we've learned from just about every single one of those. And that's definitely allowed us to be more proactive and not so reactive with a lot of things that used to happen in the past. We also hired some really great people, let's say in tech as well, that weren't scared of the debt, weren't scared of the tech debt, right? And that at first, everybody was scared of the tech debt to the extent that we couldn't move forward with it. And now we're breezing right through it. So there's a lot of things. I would say every department, regardless of what you're talking, whether it's front-facing clients, whether it's not, whether it's tech, whether it's marketing, whether it's revenue, whether it's product, whether it's, executive, all the way from A to Z, we are a different company, a very much a focused company. And we've never been so focused on a similar goal, I guess is how I would sum it up. Why haven't you sought funding from the community since 2022 when you started raising capital? Why haven't you sought funding from the community since 2022? Well, we raised money in 2022, but we didn't, or 2021 actually. We didn't look to raise money. We looked to raise money potentially in 2022. We decided not to. We did not go out for money in 2023 either. And really towards the beginning to maybe 2024 to mid 2024 is when we started to really think about what we needed to do, what we needed to raise, what our concrete plans were going to look like as we started to get a team in place that could actually deliver on what we wanted to do. And we didn't have any pending questions like, oh, what if this happens at the regulatory level? What if this happens at this level? Those things started to clear up, especially coming into the end of 2024 into 2025. And really, we kind of just started a real push to raise capital Q1 this year. And so I don't think we've ever raised money without having some type of offer outwardly to our community. There it is, Harold. I knew it. Exchange traded crypto fund. There it is. I had a P in there. It was close. I can't remember. I remember seeing documentation where I wrote exchange traded, and then I wrote it was another E word. Electronically traded crypto fund. So I don't even think I knew which I wanted to use, but that's the better one, I think. But maybe not, because we're not really an exchange. We're more of a broker. Anyway, it is what it is. Thanks, Harold. Love the shiny head. Keep it like that. Thank you, Monkey Biscuits. We'll take a poll and see what happens. What has to happen to get daily volume to 100 million? New client flow. New client flow. I think that sums it up. New client flow. That's it. Theoretically, we could do that with one new client. And the reason why, people have asked us in the past, why don't you go after API traders and blah. Of course, tech debt was a big reason. And at a time in the past, we didn't even know it was tech debt was the reason. We just knew we had some issues. Getting through the tech debt, which we are very much, like I said, pushing through now. This new web platform I talked about, which is going to allow API traders, et cetera, to have a much better interface to go in and, close a bunch of trades, manage their portfolio, all kinds of different things, set up different widgets, have complete control over what their dashboard looks like, what they need to see, what they don't. That's going to allow us then, with one trader, we could surpass that amount. That's for sure. And we've always known that, but we weren't necessarily equipped. We are still very much a retail-focused business. However, whether it's with a partner in the future or by ourselves, we absolutely will be offering certain types of services out to, let's say, a more professional retail or maybe even crypto institutional client base. Hey, Kev, hope all is well. Where does BTC staking yield come from? What are the main risks? Yep. So there you go. The first 50 BTC, roughly, maybe slightly more than that, we'll go to collateral for credit lines at liquidity providers. So that's counterparty risk. These are regulated exchanges and or desks, etc., that have been around for quite some time. But there is counterparty risk. Any trading strategy would also be mostly counterparty risk, maybe tech-related risk, because they will be hedged. However, I guess the hedge could break if some technology breaks somewhere. Though I think for the most part, the biggest risk you're looking at on either of those is counterparty risk. U.S. office where? Well, no immediate plans for U.S. office, but considering that federal regulation may be around the corner, depending on what that looks like, it's a good question. And if we do go down this path of IPOing into the U.S. market, we would absolutely have a U.S. office. That's for sure. I think for the most part, we'd probably end up in a jurisdiction like Wyoming, maybe, considering the amount of crypto legislation they've passed. Back in the day, maybe it would have been Delaware. But I think now Wyoming's probably, pretty high up on the charts in terms of where that headquarters might be. Having a sales office or something probably wouldn't be in Wyoming, right? But in terms of like the initial office, I think that's probably a safe bet. Hi, any news about Euro stablecoin integration? Hey, Andres, no, actually. Currently, no news. We were in talks on the Tether side to integrate, I believe, their Euro stablecoin. We were also in talks in the past with at least one or two, and I think you may represent one of those guys, one or two Euro stablecoins, but no, as far as I know, at least recently, not a lot of movement there. If you're not making mistakes, you're not learning and moving forward. That's true, Paul. Life is about making mistakes and recovering from them. And some mistakes are bigger than others. Sometimes you push your foot all the way inside your mouth, but that's life. Sometimes you think you're making a really good decision and then come to find out, nah. But like I said, yeah, you're right, Paul. I agree with that. You need to, as long as you keep moving and your heart's in the right place and your brain's in the right place, meaning you're learning along the way, usually you'll get where you're going. I appreciate that. I think I know what that means. Back in the day, I would have had no idea, but now I know enough people from the UK, I think, to know what that means. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Bakes. So Bakes, that's smoking a ton of weed, or what is Bakes? What's the name from? Like, how did that name come about? When decimal issue fix? Whoo, which one, man? Which one? Decimal issue where? Because I know I've seen, they may be all fixed, but I've seen decimal issues and multipliers at the old multiplier era. I've seen that one. Lots of multipliers, apparently. We should just get one of those multipliers on revenues, and then we'd be done with it. I don't know what we're doing. Yeah. So I definitely called it. I definitely said it on AMAs. Did 5 different ways, probably. Mika News. So we're in the process, I guess, is what we can say. Our goal is to file within the month of November, I believe, by the end of November, so that we can make sure we have a license in the bag by June next year, which is the cutoff date for the current license we hold in Estonia. Bam, electronically traded crypto fund. I knew it. See? I mean, I still have a memory, which I guess is good after all these years. Maybe it's because of the baldness, actually. There's no hair to weigh down those brainwaves, so they just... Well, I don't know if that has anything to do with memory. But anyway, I think I got that. There's no other pending questions, guys. You got to start typing in some questions. I already went over the update list. We're only 29 minutes in. I'd have to sit here for like 20 minutes and 37 seconds. I mean, I could probably babble for that much. I know I could, actually, but I don't know if I want to do that. And probably nobody's going to listen to it either. All right, here we go. We got pizza up here. How's Ollie doing these days since he departed? I chat. We send messages back and forth every once in a while. I'm trying to get this between two ferns, like crypto between two ferns, going with me and Ollie, man. I've never listened to a full podcast in my life. I say that I've seen clips of all kinds of podcasts, like on X or whatever, but I've never actually listened to one. I was in the car the other day waiting for somebody, and I was on Spotify, just put on a podcast. It was a comedian, kind of supposed to be two comedians. They're relatively famous. I thought it sucked, to be honest, but I thought to myself, I could do this. I could do this. And I thought of a list of people that I thought could do it with me. And then I remembered that Oliver at some point was like, dude, we should do like a Between Two Ferns, but like crypto finance related. I was like, rock on, man. Absolutely. Then I think we even had an idea to do like, this might have not been with Ollie, but it might have been somebody else. Like they have that show in the States. I think it's probably in the UK as well, and maybe elsewhere. The Masked Singer or something, or Masked Dancer or some shit like that. I was thinking like the Mask podcast. Like we would always wear masks, so we could say whatever we wanted, and hopefully not get destroyed in real life. And then we'd bring on guests, but they would we would be the question the show would be interesting. The questions would be actually, but we deliver in a way that made it kind of goofy and funny at the same time. I don't know. I'm down, man. So if Ollie, if you're listening, let's do it. Let's get the Between Two Ferns, or whatever the hell we're going to call it. Let's rock on. Any plans for the weekend? No, work. I got a bunch of stuff I got to get caught up on the admin side. I'll try to relax a little bit, but I'm going to be working mostly. But that's par for the course for most weekends. So, hey, Kevin, when is a fix on iOS to remember the selected theme coming? That's a good one. I haven't heard about that one. I'll check to see if there's a Jira ticket on that bad boy. That's annoying, though. I can see how that would be annoying. Can't you just set it to like system? There's no system option. I know on Android I have the system option. Never fails. Hey, Debbie. Sure. So yours was the 401k thing, right? So context of my answer was that great things happen in the U.S. I saw that news, obviously. I think it's possible even without us doing anything, but that would mean that whoever manages your Roth or your IRA or 401k, whatever, would have to agree to have crypto exposure, would probably give you access to cash to be able to purchase. Maybe they'd have to link up with us. I don't know. Maybe there'd be some type of reporting we'd have to do to them. That's probably just a pain, though, and I wouldn't suggest maybe going down that road. You could ask just to get some information. I would definitely like to support this. We don't necessarily have it in our immediate roadmap because that news is really fresh. I would suspect you'll probably see Coinbase and others, maybe at the institutional level first, or their larger client level first, probably start to do this faster than we will, unfortunately. But it is definitely something I would like to do, and not just for the U.S. If we start seeing news like that around the world, that would be, well, it's a great service to offer. Obviously, it's good for the business, but at the same time, I think it's about leveling the playing field. So giving people access, I think, is awesome. So I guess keep asking me, and in the background, I'll see what it looks like from our side, what that would entail. Because to be honest, I don't know. We probably would have to hook up some API to some major 401k providers, but they might not even have a system yet, since that news is relatively new. Coinmetro is almost the only European SEX with USD marketing on it. Well, there's a bit of. So I think I told you, I was in the office of the finance minister in Ireland, and I mentioned that we had USDT, and he said, well, that's illegal. Those are the exact words I think he used. Or it wasn't the finance minister that said it. It was someone from the office. And I said, well, I don't think so. No, it's definitely illegal. I'm like, well. And then I explained how we could just show USD and settle in USDT. And since there's no trading in USDT officially, we would be right inside the lines of MiCA, something along those parameters. And I was, wow, we never thought of that. Yeah, well. Par for the course in terms of how regulation usually comes to fruition. Nobody thinks of a lot of things, and then loopholes are made, et cetera, et cetera. Eventually, with MiCA, we will probably more than likely need to drop USDT. That may mean USDG, USDC, and some other stable coins, maybe even USD1, the Trump coin, maybe become the coins that we need to use. Like I said, I still think there might be a carve out to just say USD and allow for deposits in USD1, USDC, USDT, USD, whatever, but only allow trading as USD. But again, that needs to be analyzed. So that's why there's no marketing on it, because it may not be beneficial in the short term. Crypto connoisseurs with Ali. Yeah, I remember crypto connoisseurs. That was decent as well. I mean, we were obviously very straight edge on that show, and I'm thinking of something where we get to go off a little bit. I'd have a bit of fun there. Speaking of good old white paper ideas. Any plans on lending and borrowing? Definitely something we're discussing, especially with the U.S. changes in policy, etc. I think what I would say is eventually, yes, we will be doing this. We have to find a way to do it Coinmetro way, and no, not full of bugs, Harold, but but something that is unique and we feel is just better presented than what's available elsewhere. What's the plan to bring on new clients? Well, marketing, advertising. I mean, nothing's changed there. Yeah, yes, there's some out of the box ideas. Yes, there's some things that I think we are doing that others may not be doing. But essentially, it's marketing, advertising, getting the word out there, and it's acquisitions of client bases and et cetera from companies that potentially can't service their European clients anymore under MiCA, et cetera. That's also one of the things that we've been looking into. Thanks, Debbie. Appreciate you. Appreciate you being here at pretty much every AMA. So hats off to you. Well, see? Amazing. Thank you. Debbie already is in crypto in our IRA. I mean, where's everybody else? I guess why did everybody take so much time? Coinmetro is an exchange clear with user in mind, always aiming to do things in the best interest of customers. Thanks, Bakes. When do you feel the masses will start to realize this? Mars surely outweighs any other benefit provided by competitors, appreciating that some other platforms are preferred based on the amount of coins tokens. I preferred based on the amount of coins and tokens available, where Coinmetro is careful to list only the best projects. Yeah, giving people too much choice, though, especially for newbies, isn't really good because they end up just buying anything and then they lose their money and then they blame the platform to a certain aspect and they may never come back to crypto again, or they may just go somewhere else. And so I think Mars V2, I agree. I think when it comes to tokenomics and just general integration, tokenomics integration across an exchange, no one touches that. Even Mars V1, to be honest, we just haven't seen such a reception of Mars V1 because of the staking programs we've had up to this date simply haven't been profitable enough for us to really pass it on to clients. But that's going to change with V2. And so, why isn't, well, we're unknown, right? We have a lot of word of mouth. But we still had, when that started, we had a relatively small client base. So we have a much bigger client base, but it's based on that initial word of mouth client base. Of course, as we get better, as we deliver better, those newer clients that may have not been using word of mouth, especially with the referral program now fixed, will start to do that. And we are going to see eventually that snowball start to form, as well with us in the background actually getting the word out, right? Actually spending money on marketing, etc. Obviously, one of the reasons for our current fundraise. I absolutely agree. So I'll dig into that a bit. Theme. Yep, system is an option, but I use light system, but like CM dark theme. I did raise on Discord in the bugs channel, but no reply there. Okay, we'll find out. Maybe you got to get used to dark theme on your phone, man. For Coinmetro, please. Any plans to offer USD1, aka treasury bonds backed by stablecoins? Yeah, I would say potentially, and probably most likely. Well, let's see how that develops. But if the U.S. government, well, I shouldn't say the U.S. government, if Trump and his power that he holds and his family hold are going to put weight behind it, it's probably going to pick up some speed and user base. That's for sure. Volumes have been really nice lately, but from the investor deck info, it seems revenue is way down compared to 2021. Will BTC breaking all-time highs? Yeah, the reason why, so back in the day, we had less average volume. However, that volume was mostly not on spot because that volume was mostly on tram and or margin. And we were making revenue from similar sources, but we had more revenue from some sources than we do now in terms because we, lower prices, adjusted, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We also had way more active users, but those active users, and for instance, in staking, back when we had Cadena bonding, we made a lot of money on Cadena bonding. We, when we first launched Flux staking, we made a lot of money on Flux staking, especially during the last bull run. So when it comes to volumes, we're absolutely tearing apart what we had, and volumes per active client, we're destroying it. So in metrics, I think where it counts more longer term, we are absolutely crushing it. If we had the same amount of active clients that we did, which I think was I don't know what the average was, but the average was somewhere off the top of my head, 12 to 16,000 active users during those high revenue days. And right now you're talking 2,000 to 3,000. So we're talking 4 or 5 times more active users. We would have 30, 35, maybe even 40% more revenue. So it's about gaining more active users. That's for sure. Is Coinmetro prepared for lower volumes once all-time highs have been reached and will be sustainable? We are doing everything in the background to make sure of that. That's why the continued work on pushing out new products, new services, changes to interfaces, bringing out this kind of more institutional web platform, all that stuff is designed to give us a base to bring out even more products and services that are sustainable, things like subscription models, things like alternative trading markets, etc., that will maintain revenues even through crypto bear markets. CM debit card or auto buys every week, month, etc. Auto buys every week, month, that's DCA, dollar cost averaging. Let me go back to my 2-pager. That's on my What's Coming Next number 3, which is launching right after the new swap. And the new swap is ready for tech. So within this year, you're going to see that. I think you'll see it even right into beginning of Q4, I think. And the debit card, so I'll drop some bean. We are actively in the research phase for a potential Coinmetro debit card. That's what I can say for now. Do you think peace in Ukraine and Fed dropping interest rates will spark alt season? So as said, leading into the end of Q3, into Q4, we're probably going to see an alt season, a version of into Q1 next year. So I think either of those things happening may propel us quicker or get us more volatility. However, I think even if they don't happen, we are headed in that direction anyway. Any news on current fundraising efforts? Yeah, we'll be making some news public here probably relatively shortly. We are close to halfway through our goal. I've been trying to get Ledger Status and Koibi to get Kevin on Up Only after they stopped doing it for over 2 years. If anyone else wants to get involved, that's the sort of platform that can help Coinmetro. Yeah, look, I'll go anywhere, almost anywhere. So if you get me on somewhere, I can open my mouth and talk. That's for sure. And I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Bakes. Harold, as there is a new community manager on Discord, can you share your thoughts, plans on how to re-engage the Discord community? I can't say I have plans. We may have plans though, meaning Coinmetro may have plans. I don't have any plans. But you know, when a previous manager was there, we were trying to make things more interactive, etc., and having different, rooms. I think they're called rooms where people can interact on different topics and blah, blah, blah. And I think that was probably a good idea. I'm not a big Discord user, so I don't really have that many probably great ideas. I think anything that we can do, just like with tokenomics, to be honest, to integrate more that Discord with our systems, with trading, maybe having alerts pop up on Discord, maybe having suggestions like there's a head and shoulders pattern on Bitcoin about to form. Check the 15-minute chart. I don't know. Maybe providing something like that integrates it more so that people are constantly, while they're checking the markets page all the time to see what their portfolio looks like, they may also be getting alerts from Discord, which brings them into the Discord community, maybe some more interactive stuff like we used to do in the past. I think all that. Anytime that someone feels a need to look more than, once a week is going to get everybody probably more interaction. More interaction means more people interacting, basically. Do you still think gems are the way to get users like with KDA, or do you think alts are doomed? I think there'll always be gems, whatever happens with this market. And I think it is an amazing way. It's not easy, though. You have to know, or at least have a certain idea of what's going to be a gem. And the problem with that is you either end up listing like a Binance 10,000 assets and then 3 become really good. But because you listed so many, most of your clients didn't get into those assets. So when they blow up, they feel like they missed out, and that's your fault, So trying to find gems and have it a good percentage of your overall asset base is really, really hard. And it's not going to get easier. And with so many altcoins now, it's even harder. But to answer the question, do I think gems are not the way, but a great way to get new users and then retain those users? I absolutely do. It just becomes more and more difficult to do so. Yep, CM debit card, man. It's in the research process. Did I? Let's see. STL. Let me go back. How far back was this question? Let's see. Because I did not notice your name before. I don't necessarily have a photographic memory. I don't think, but it's pretty. I usually can remember if I spotted a certain name, and yeah, you're not there in the entire list from where I am now all the way up. So if you asked a question, it either didn't come through for whatever reason, just ask it again. I saw the message about the Coinmetro terminal. Is that just an idea right now, or will you offer the gadget once there is enough interest? Oh, it's right now. There's a lot of ideation behind the scenes about merch, like merch we actually make. And I do think we're actually going to make this bad boy. Now it might be a very small product run or whatever at first, but yeah, it was shown to the community because we're actually trying to make the things, and our head of creative is doing an amazing job. We should have bought this guy a 3D printer, 2 years ago. We might have just 3D printed an office at this point. I don't know. Make sure to give a thumbs up before leaving. Thank you, Paul. I very much appreciate that. Yep, hats off to Alec for sure. Doing an amazing job, absolutely amazing job. Was just promoted, by the way, so everybody throw out some confetti. Well, give this video a like for Alec. But yeah, definitely doing a fantastic job. I see him online, all types of weird hours. Not that I condone that from the European Labor Board perspective, but I still kind of like it. So yeah, thanks, Alec. I really do appreciate it. I see all over the place in Telegram. He even has to deal with Harold on a non-official channel. And that's, you got to come on, Harold. You got to tip your hat on that one, because you can be annoying, my friend. I can probably be annoying too, but Harold can be annoying, and sometimes it's difficult. And I've seen Alec get in there when even I was like, I'm not jumping into this one. So yeah, but thank you, Harold. I appreciate you appreciating Alec. Thank you very much. So again, I'm at the end of the list. Where's STLL? Or still? Is it still with like a capital I? That's weird. Or is it STLLL, all lowercase? I don't know. But post your question, man, because definitely didn't pop up on my side. I scrolled up, didn't see it. If not, we might have to tidy it up there. We're at just about 47 minutes in. Amazing update. Again, thanks to Alec for that update list, but amazing updates. I definitely feel a turn, a kind of a different wind, so to speak, behind the sails of Coinmetro, and not so much in the front, tailwinds. I definitely feel the tailwinds versus the headwinds. And that's a really good feeling. It's been a long road. I'm happy to say that not just Alec, but many, many people in the organization are just really pulling their weight and pulling more weight than they need to right now. And that's definitely making a massive difference. At least Harold knows he's annoying. That's good, man. That's self-awareness is step one in any 12-step program, I think. Forgiveness, though, is probably step 2 or 3. So asking for forgiveness, not you asking. What? No, yeah, you asking for forgiveness. Anyway, there's forgiveness in the 12 steps for sure. Here we go. Hereby, where would you like to see Coinmetro next year, and how long would you stay CEO? Well, let's see. Where would I like to see Coinmetro next year? Well, I'd like to see that MiCA license. I'd like to see that UK license, that Dubai VARA license. I would like to see profitable business with growing revenues, a completely no tech debt across the entire platform. Yeah, I guess from a broad level, that's what I think we will see. That's what I would like to see. I believe I'm still in the right position until, if we go down this round of IPO, then that's not me, right? I'm not the guy simply because I've never done it before. I would definitely be on the visionary side. I'd be pushing you'd still see my face, unfortunately. Sorry hereby. But as far as running day to day, I would say right now, even, we have at least one person in the organization that does a lot of the stuff that a CEO sometimes would do on the operational side. And really, for me, yeah, I'm obviously doing client relations to a certain extent, investor relations, and being the face of the company and doing these things like the AMA and a lot of let's say high level things, or also things tied to some operations, obviously that only that I need to sign off on. Let's put it that way. if a better option comes along, and I should say collectively, we feel that is the correct path for Coinmetro. All I want to see is this company succeed, and all its stakeholders, whether you're a client, whether you're a token holder, whether you're a shareholder, do well and be rewarded for all the time and support that you've given us in each of those different buckets, right? Whether you're a shareholder, a client, or a token holder, or all above, or the above. That's all I want. And if there's someone else that's uniquely in a position to be able to do that or assist with that in the position of CEO, all for it. Thanks for everything you do, Kevin. Clearly a great team, but you're one of Coinmetro's greatest. Thank you, Bakes. And I would say you're also one of our community's greatest assets. So I appreciate you as well. Yeah. CVO. I'm there already, I think. But I'm still doing a bit of CEOing, sometimes some CFOing, sometimes some CMOing, whatever. I do a little bit here, there, and everywhere, or at least try to do what I can. But most of that is, visionary. I would say almost like an internal consultant, more than anything else. What can you do about order books that are not moving? Yeah, working on that. This is why I think I mentioned. Let's see. Let me go back. Did I mention? I did. Liquidity aggregation for small caps. Okay, so that was number 9 on my list. So it's tested. We needed to have a way to automatically rebalance between a few different liquidity sources because we were doing it manually during some tests. That's been done. It was being tested this morning. It's probably completed testing. So now we will be able to 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, add new assets or different assets so we can finally have actionable liquidity across all assets. So it's in process. I appreciate that, man. I feel the same about every single one of you, even Harold. Here's one you've not been asked in a while. Favorite anime? Oh, man. Don't get me started on the anime, dude. I've literally never seen one. And I never will. I just won't do it. Yeah. I don't even know the names. I mean, I don't even know I couldn't even think of the name of one. I have no idea. Jeff Bezos, is that Bezos? Once had an online bookstore. He remained CEO. I'm sure you can stay, no? Yeah. I mean, look, I've never met Jeff Bezos. He's probably a pretty intense fellow, considering the pivots that Amazon has made and la. All right, yeah, there's the correction. I'm not saying I can't. All I'm saying is all I want is what's best for all stakeholders. And if there's a way to do that involves me not being CEO, I will always be involved. That's for sure. And daily and hours and hours and hours of my day. I don't really plan. As long as Coinmetro exists, I will be part of Coinmetro and a big part. But with specifics to CEO, I don't have an ego. Like I said, I could be chief janitor if that was the best thing for the company. Then I would do that. I would clean the shit out of some desks, man. You see how clean this desk is? That's qualified, I think. So that was more of my response. Not necessarily like I don't want to be here. I want to be here. I like the fires. I like putting things out. I like this. Yeah, life is stressful, work is stressful. But I like a challenge, and there's been no limitation of difficult challenges here. So Pokemon. I didn't even know that was an anime. Is that an anime? I think anime people would be pissed off if I said that. Of course, me saying it's for 14-year-olds that live in basements and paint their fingernails black would probably also piss them off. So I don't know which route I should take. Yeah, I've never even seen Pokemon. I mean, I know it exists. I've seen the Pikachu things all over the place. I know that it's called Pikachu because, I've had kids, but I've never watched one. I watched Paw Patrol, equally shitty. I mean, I'm not, no defense here for Paw Patrol, but, talking dogs somehow made more sense to me than whatever anime is. Anyway, so we're 55 minutes in. Yeah, I mean, I got no problem with people liking Pokemon or anime, to be honest. But if you like anime, I might make fun of you. But that's okay because you can make fun of me. You can call me bald or less handsome than previously or something, something really bad. I don't know. I can take it. I got thick skin, as you can see, somebody is calling me. Anyway, I don't know why I usually don't even have the vibration on. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, so that's it, guys. I'm wrapping it up there. 55 minutes and 7 seconds in. Amazing 2-pager update. If you missed it, rewind to the beginning. If you haven't clicked on that like button or that confetti button or that I love Kevin button, I think it's called the heart. Just go ahead and click on that. Make sure you subscribe. Come listen to me every month because why not? What else you got to do? Put me on the big screen. Piss the wife off. And hear about, crypto for a while and any other weird thing that I get asked. Have a great rest of your Thursday, everybody. See you guys around. I'm in Telegram at Kevin Murcko. I'm on X. I still call it Twitter because it sounds better, at Kevin Murcko. Hit me up. Ask me a question. I'm usually there to answer. If I don't, it's not because I don't want to answer you or I don't like you or you ask me something I don't want to answer. It's because I missed it and it, went to the bottom of my inbox. So just go ahead and send it again. Have a great one, everybody. Thanks all for all the support. As always, buy some XCM because, why wouldn't you buy some XCM? Mars 2 coming. Cheers, everybody.